This is All India Radio. Please stand by for the next program.
This is All India Radio. You will now hear comments from the press. The Economic Times, in its editorial titled Ideology of Terror Outlives Ideologue, says that a terrorist chief who ordered large-scale destruction of life and property and justified enslavement of people, all in the name of faith, will no longer be able to cause mayhem is a matter of satisfaction. But it would be a mistake to imagine that the killing of Abu Bakr al-Baghdadi represents victory over terror carried out in the name of Islam. Sure, US President Donald Trump can take credit for Baghdadi's death by self-destruction when cornered by US security personnel in a tunnel in Idlib, a holdout region of Syria, where the government is yet to establish its authority after its victory over rebels in much of Syria. President Barack Obama had taken credit for killing Osama bin Laden, founder-in-chief of Al-Qaeda, but the Islamic State led by Baghdadi had taken on the mantle of terror in the name of Islam and carried out atrocities on Muslims and others in different parts of the world. Baghdadi will not lack a successor either. The point is to kill the ideology and not just individual ideologues. So long as the ideology thrives, the killing of one ideologue will only serve to produce another ideologue to take his place, and it would be a mistake to place the responsibility for vanquishing the ideology of deadly jihad entirely on the followers of Islam. The roots of Al-Qaeda run in the murky sponsorship of the Taliban by American and Pak covert operations agencies with the aim of using religious fanaticism to drive the Soviet forces out of Afghanistan. Well-funded Sunni and Shia radio stations in the West Asia spew venom at the rival denomination, producing a climate of hatred towards anyone other than those considered pure, but also promoting internecine warfare among the followers of Islam to the benefit of those who stand to lose if the Arabs were to close ranks and look to solve their common problems. Islamabad's use of religion-based terror as a means of securing additional strategic depth has little to do with theology. The Times of India, in its editorial titled Telecom Trouble, writes, India's telecom sector, critical to building a 21st century infrastructure for the country, is in serious trouble. Burdened by debt and losses, a Supreme Court verdict last week added to its woes. The apex court upheld a government claim against telecom operators which will cost the latter a whopping rupees 92,000 crore. This has to be paid in 3 months. Telecom sector problems are not new, and they have been partially responsible for pruning the number of service providers from around 10 a few years ago to 4 today. Even as the industry struggled financially, mobile phone connections have grown exponentially over a 15-year period, and India is today the largest data consumer per smartphone. The current situation is worrisome because even as China and the US are off the blocks in the transition to the next generation technology, 5G, Indian telecom industry's financial health is bad. 5G will require big investments, and an industry burdened by over rupees 7.5 lakh crore of debt is utterly unprepared for it. There are myriad factors for the current state of the industry, but two which have played a prominent role are the political hysteria over corruption in spectrum allocation and the attendant impact on the floor prices in spectrum auctions. This is not to say that wrongdoing should be condoned, but the cure shouldn't prove worse than the disease. The Indian Express, in its editorial titled Red Flag at Infosys, comments, more than 2 years after N.R. Narayan Murthy, a founder of the software services firm Infosys, raised issues of transparency and disclosure and falling standards of governance which led to a conflict between him and the company's board of directors and the exit of its then CEO Vishal Sikka, fresh governance issues have cropped up. Early this month, the company disclosed that it had received 2 whistleblower complaints alleging disturbing malpractices, aggressive accounting policies, and provision of selective information to the board by the CEO, Salil Parekh, and the CFO, Nilanjan Roy, aimed at boosting its bottom line in the near term. The company's board has responded by bringing into play its internal and external auditors and also drafting in external legal support. That has not deterred a few US law firms from filing class action suits in that country where Infosys American depository receipts are listed and traded. The US Securities and Exchange Commission too plans to seek help from its Indian counterpart SEBI, according to reports highlighting the challenge ahead for what many investors perceive as a bellwether for a new India. Those were the comments from the press presented to you by the News Services Division of All India Radio.
This broadcast came to you from the Daily Station of All India Radio. And now we have for you the program summary for today,